the library. And then when you're there,
here and the real world, and between theoretical knowledge and also practical application. Now, these platforms provide a platform to learn, collaborate, innovate beyond the confines of classrooms, forging the connections of industry professionals and fellow students with similar interests. Now, imagine a continent where young minds actually converge, where the spirit of innovation and technological advancement takes root, where the seeds of change are sown. This is the vision. This vision is not a mere dream. It is a reality being nurtured by the dynamic, visionary engineering student chapters across Africa. Honorable Chairperson, where is he? Honorable Chairperson, distinguished delegates, fellow students, young professionals, representatives from FEO, Unesco, EXA, if they are here, and all other engineering entities, greetings. My name is Lebogang Moloto. Join me in this journey as we delve deeper into the remarkable journey of student chapters within the African continent. Together we will uncover the stories of, let me just put this here. We will uncover the stories of young visionaries shaping their destinies and the destiny of the African continent. Now, together we will celebrate the essence of innovation, education, and progress that these chapters represent. Together, we will recognize the importance of engineering student chapters in crafting a brighter future for Africa. Now, before I dive in deeper, let me just tell you a bit more about myself. My name is Lebogang Moloto. As you guys have heard, I am from Kimberley in the Northern Cape here in South Africa, born and bred there, proudly from the Diamond City. I see my home girl is there rooting for me, thank you. I studied at the University of Johannesburg. I am doing my undergraduate degree in Bachelor's of Engineering in Electrical and Electronic electric Electrical and Electronic Engineering Sciences. It's a double major. Yeah. And also a bit of the things that I do. I am the Study UJ Student Chapter Chairperson. I'm also part of the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, which is an international organization under the IEEE Smart Village, which promotes enterprise and also energy and empowering the impoverished community. And I'm also part of the Engineering Council of South Africa student chapter, the EXA student chapter. By the way, UJ is the only institution that has a student chapter for EXA. Just saying. Bragging a little. And also, I am part of a newly formed organization called She STEM, which promotes engineering amongst women. And also, I'm part of the EXA Students and Young Engineers Working Group. As you guys can see, I'm here. And I'm happy to be here. So let's get more into, let's dive in deep. What are engineering student chapters? So engineering student chapters are often referred to as student branches, or some people say student sections. So these are student-run organizations affiliated with professional engineering societies or associations. These chapters are found in universities, TVET colleges, universities of technology, technical schools, and they're actually dedicated to promoting engineering education, professional development, and networking among students. Students that are obviously interested in the engineering fields. Number one, affiliation. So affiliation, these engineering student chapters are usually affiliated with larger professional engineering societies, such as, for example, the Engineering Council of South Africa. As you guys have heard, I'm part of the EXA student chapter, which is affiliated with the main body, the Engineering Council of South Africa, also IEEE, SAICI, and there are many others, right? So these affiliations provide access to resources, support, and networking opportunities within respective engineering disciplines. So also these chapters have also student activities. We come to the point of activities, whereby student chapters organize a wide range of activities, including guest lectures by interested professionals, site visits, engineering competitions, community outreach programs, etc., etc. So overall, these engineering student chapters play a crucial role in complementing the formal education of engineering students by offering opportunities for practical learning, professional development, and networking within the engineering community. These chapters help bridge the gap between academic knowledge and the real world engineering practice to prepare students for a successful career in their chosen engineering fields. Right, so I'll just show a few examples of our um, engineering chapters. Here we have like the UJ Civils, the famous UJ Civils, which is affiliated with the South African Institute of Civil Engineering. Um, so UJ Civils is a SciSci student chapter that operates from the AfriSem Engineering Club at UJ. So their mandate is to bridge the gap between what students learn and study in class and what is truly happening out there in industry, right? So they are trying to sort of like bridge that gap, you know, because just sitting in a class, it won't give you that 100% experience. And then there's also the UJ Civil Tech Forum, which is a dedicated student chapter that is dedicated to shaping the next generation of civil engineers. As you can see, they do site visits, they do seminars and networking events. They are quite busy. And you find my student chapter, of which I'm the chairperson of the South African Institute of Electrical Engineers, the UJ student chapter. As you can see here, we were doing a project at one of the smart villages in the country, which is Kwakwani in Limpopo. I don't know if you guys, if anyone knows Kwakwani here. Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Kwakwani. So we do most of the smart village work there. We install sigfox, we do telecommunications work, install solar systems, solar bakeries, etc. So it's also one of our projects that students, as we get an experience and a feel of how the industry really is. And this is EWB, South Africa Engineers Without Borders. As you can see, they were busy with the community engagement program. There are many student chapters out there. There's IEEE Smart Village, of which I'm the advisory board member for at the UJ branch. So now let's come to the most important part of this presentation. Firstly, I would like to find out in terms of time so that I don't, and I still good.
You're still good. Just look at me, you know.
But you must tell me, you know, how many minutes left, because sometimes I tend to go overboard.
Yeah, 15.
We can see.
So keep on looking at
Okay.
me.
So there are 10 reasons of the why, right? We came here to give you 10 reasons of why these student chapters are actually so important, right? 10 reasons why. Number 1, networking. Number 2, skills development. 3, industry exposure. Leadership, community engagement, engineering application. Number 6. 7, engineering professionalism. 8, transformation. 9, mentorship. And then lastly, collaboration. Now, I'm just not going to name them like that. I am actually going to just break them down so that we can properly dissect. So first and foremost, number 1, networking, right? Networking provides a platform for knowledge, right? For knowledge exchange. So when we come together, we bring unique perspectives, experiences, and insights to the table, right? We learn from one another and we absorb the wealth of knowledge that expands beyond the confines of our classrooms. So in the process, we bridge the gap in understanding and we nurture a culture of continuous learning, right? But networking isn't just about what you know, it's about who you know, right? So our student chapters connect us with industry professionals, professors, and fellow students. These connections, I have 10 minutes left.
Yes.
Wow.
Less than 10.
Okay, so these connections, it can be the key to unlocking doors in our future careers, and they can lead to mentorship opportunities and even job placements, etc. Okay, now I have to rush a bit because I have a few minutes left. And then number two, skills development. Um, this this issue nurtures innovation and creativity through practical experiences as we learn to think critically, to adapt to new technologies and generate novel solutions to complex problems. Industry exposure. Industry exposure actually nurtures a practical mindset. We learn to apply our knowledge by solving real world problems, to work as part of a team, and to also adapt to the constraints of time and budget, right? So these skills are invaluable when we set up into the professional world. And industry exposure instills a sense of purpose, right? So we witness how engineering projects can address societal needs, promote sustainability, and improve the quality of life. Number four, leadership. Leadership actually cultivates a sense of responsibility and accountability. Our actions and decisions can actually have a positive ripple effect, inspiring others and setting the stage for impactful projects and initiatives. Community engagement. Community engagement within the African engineering student chapters isn't just an opinion. It is a calling, and it is a commitment to using our engineering proneness to improve our lives, the lives of our neighbors, and to contribute to the development and the progress of our continent. Engineering application. Engineering application nurtures creativity and problem solving. It encourages us to think critically, to adapt to situations, and generate innovative solutions to complex challenges. This practical experience is where we develop the ability to tackle real world problems head on. Engineering professionalism, this is very important. So this encompasses of a range of qualities and behaviors that reflect ethical and responsible practice of our field. And here's why it holds paramount significance. It fosters effective communication and teamwork. And when we treat each other with respect and listen actively to collaborate harmoniously, we create an environment where diverse perspectives and talents flourish. This is vital for tackling complex engineering challenges. Engineering professionalism extends beyond our student years. It prepares us for our future careers, where we will be responsible for designing critical infrastructure, developing innovative solutions, and making decisions that impact lives. Our professional conduct today shapes our reputation in industry tomorrow. Now we come to a very important issue, which is transformation. Now, transformation signifies the change that we aspire to bring about in our education, our communities, and ultimately in Africa as a whole. But the question remains, what actually fuels transformation? Diversity. Diversity is the catalyst that ignites our creative potential. In a continent full, as rich and as varied as Africa, we are blessed with a multitude of cultures, background, and perspectives. And these differences are our greatest assets. And this inclusivity is not just a moral imperative, but it is a pragmatic one that enables us to build stronger teams and to make better decisions. Number 9, mentorship. Mentorship, in a nutshell, it fosters a culture of giving back. Just as we receive guidance from mentors, we too have the opportunity to become mentors ourselves one day, and the cycle of knowledge transfers and support ensures that the legacy of mentorship continues to thrive in our chapters and benefits future generations of engineers. The last one is collaboration. Now, collaboration within the African Engineering Student Chapter isn't just a choice. It is a commitment to collective progress and excellence. It is a recognition that together we are stronger, more innovative, and better equipped to address challenges and opportunities facing our African continent. Now let's move on to challenges in African engineering and how can these student chapters actually help to overcome these challenges. Number one, infrastructure development. So Africa faces significant infrastructure deficit in areas such as transportation, obviously energy, water supply. So these are just some of the challenges, not all the challenges. I'll just go through a few due to time constraints. I see that I have 5 minutes.
Less than 5 minutes.
Okay. So I'll just touch on a few. Okay, so student chapters can engage in projects related to infrastructure development, collaborating with local communities and authorities to design and implement sustainable solutions, just like in IEEE Smart Village, empowering impoverished communities with the pillars of enterprise, energy, and education, the 3 E's. And then the skills gap. There's a bridge, as you mentioned, the Deputy President also mentioned this issue earlier. So there's a need to bridge the gap between academic knowledge and practical skills. I'm sure 99% of the room will agree with me. So student chapters, how can they fit in? They can actually organize skills development programs, workshops, and internship opportunities to enhance practical capabilities of engineering students. We come to another issue of gender equity issues. Gender disparity rates persist in engineering, with fewer women pursuing careers in the engineering field, and student chapters can actually promote mentorship programs, awareness campaigns, and initiatives that encourages more female participation in the engineering field. I was gonna go through a research that was done, but there's no time. Okay, so I'm gonna go through another one, brain drain. This happens when highly skilled engineering professionals often leave Africa in search of better opportunities, higher salaries, improved living conditions abroad. Right? So student chapters in African engineering can play a vital role in mitigating this brain drain by empowering students and graduates to see opportunities for growth and impact within their home countries by providing resources, advocacy, and opportunities for collaboration. Another one, regulatory and policy challenges. Complex regulatory environments can impede engineering projects. Now, how can student chapters fit in? Student chapters can engage with policy makers, advocate for favorable policies, and participate in discussions to shape regulations that support engineering innovation. Now, let's get into the issue of preparing the next generation of leaders for Africa's sustainable development. Number one, quality education and curriculum enhancement. We need to revamp the curriculum and we need to make it more modernized, more exciting, and we can perhaps forget about the old way of learning and move with the times. Global exposure, partnerships, continuing education. As everyone knows, engineering is a lifelong learning career. And lastly, I want to leave it off with a call of action to fail EXA, Unesco, will fail, and all other engineering entities to support African engineering student chapters. I'm concluding.
Yeah.
So, to these regulatory bodies and engineering entities, here is a call to action, right? This is actually a blueprint for how you can empower and actually uplift these student chapters through number one, mentorship, internship and jobs, financial support, technical workshop, resources access, guest speaking, sustainability initiatives, scholarships and awards, diversity and inclusion programs, advocacy for engineering, and also most importantly, including young people in policy decision making. By actively supporting African engineering student chapters, you become the architects of change. You empower future leaders of engineering who will drive innovation, build sustainable solutions, and propel Africa forward. Now, in conclusion, in a world where engineering is at the heart of progress, these student chapters are the heartbeat of the continent's development. They are the source of inspiration for aspiring engineers, the driving force behind the innovative projects, and the advocates for sustainable solutions. Now, as we look ahead, let us recognize and celebrate the profound importance of African engineering student chapters. Let us support and empower them in their mission, for it is through their dedication and passion that we will engineer a future for Africa that is marked by progress, innovation, and prosperity for all. Thank you, and may the spirit of engineering continue to illuminate the path to a brighter Africa.
Um, Greetings again. Looking at the time, it's okay. It's actually 13:15. She finished at 13:14. That's like 2 minutes from the 30 minutes she was
It's very
given.
precise.
Yeah. So I applied safety factor. I knew. I forgot the 5 minutes. I knew. So I wanted to know whether should we say I'm not an honest person, or I'm a liar, or I'm just an engineer. Oh, sorry? Well, I am. Okay, I just applied safety factor so that I can also share something from the EXA student chapter. Actually, I'm a program manager there. I saw a lot. I didn't see EXA student chapter. Or is it because I didn't send you the pictures? The cars are outside there, don't worry you guys. When you get it by the entryway, just go the left side. But I'll just take this 1 minute and yeah, I don't see the mouse. Still I love the mouse. Escape. Escape. Here I don't see it. The technical guy. Okay, here I don't see it. It's showing there. Okay. Should do it now. Maybe. Still not showing. It just took that minute. Still not showing at all. The other document. Okay, you can figure that out. Who's the technical guy? Can we get the technical guy?
I think he's outside.
But only Yenya's are technical.
Yeah, well, I'm glad the hashtag savage young person did not say that. I would be in trouble now. So thank God. Yeah. I'll just download the video. Sorry. Is there someone who's getting us the technical guide?
What are you struggling with projecting?
Yes, the mouse is not here, so I'm trying to move the mouse.
Something's moving.
On the other side.
Yes.
I'm not saying I don't.
No, I think you've got your screens on extended, not duplicate. You need to bring it back to that side.
And this
Yeah, look on the F4 buttons, you should see like a screen where that should help where
F8.
Yeah.
Okay, here's it. Thank you very much.
how many engineers did it take to figure that out?
Hey, level of productivity.
That's how we solve problems as a team.
Teamwork, collaboration.
That was the die. 100% problem.
Okay. So I also use my technology. It's a simple thing from the EXA student chapter. Just as the EXA student chapter firmly upholds the value of engineering professionalism and its capacity to drive excellence and innovation in Africa. The primary goal of the chapter is to empower future engineering practitioners with vital technical expertise and knowledge to further its reputation. As an affiliate of EXA, the chapter strives to champion engineering professionalism and raise awareness among students, the engineering practitioners of the future. Okay, we close that session, which is still session 1. Okay, so now we go to session 1B. You can think of it like that, but now it's just the quiz section.
I'm not seeing your question and answer.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Chuchu, Su. Okay, we'll just do it here. I'm being hopeful the timer appears. Okay, it's not appearing. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So at 25 past, it shows in the Q&A session. Then increase the board, and sit here very fast. Sit. Yes, just gonna sit here. You can sit there, or you can stand. You guys can share your questions. Any questions that you have? Presentation. Yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you, Lebo, for your presentation. I have one question for, let's say, someone that is sitting in Kigali, for example, and they want to start a student chapter. What would you advise them to do? Why I'm asking the question, to give context, it's not a lot of countries that have student chapters, so the benefits are clear. I think they are well articulated from your presentation. But what would you advise as a start to say, how do you get people recognizing that we need to mobilize resources for us to be able to start a student chapter? So that when they go back home, they're able to start the conversation. Are you willing to collaborate knowledge? And how do we empower other countries to start a vibrant student chapter like the EXA one and the other ones like your UJ Civils, your VET student chapters that you mentioned?
Thank you, Mr. Michael, for that question. That was a very excellent question. Thank you for that. So, as I mentioned in my speech, collaboration plays a very important role, whether, especially multidisciplinary collaboration. So, when someone wants to start the student chapters, maybe in another country or another institution, number one, collaborating with like-minded people, fellow students who are like-minded, so that you can have a greater force, right? So that you can work together as a team, because doing it alone, it won't be that effective. And then also after that, approaching maybe someone at the institution who is passionate about students, a lecturer or someone who's passionate about students and the development of students. Speak to them and they will put in a word for you. And then also, if the person is here at this conference, now it is an opportunity for us to speak and to collaborate. We might even open our own fail student chapter, So collaboration, networking. I know a lot of people, like, they are not that vocal, but it is best to sort of like gather your forces, find people who are like-minded, approach someone who's interested in youth development, and just approach people. Yeah.
I think that gentleman there, he
Oh.
can take my question.
Okay, regarding your project in Limpopo, how and who was sponsoring the project in terms of sponsorship and collaboration? Do you guys determine a gap in that community, then came up with a solution, and also consulting with experts at the same time? Then afterwards drafting your proposals to potential partners. I'm trying to figure out how you guys came up with that project and made sure that it's possible. Were you guys supported by the institution, and how did you guys come up with that partnership? In case I'd also like to maybe introduce it in my student chapter also.
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you so much. So the Gwagwani Smart Village, actually the project has been there before I even went to UJ. So the details of how it started and all of that, unfortunately, I don't have the details. I don't want to lie to you. But this project is sponsored by the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering Sciences. So what happened is that engineering is all about identifying a problem in society and solving that problem by applying math, science, and engineering sciences. So that's exactly what we did. We saw that the people at Gwakwani, they don't have internet access, and that was the problem. We went there, we did our telecommunications work, we installed Sigfox, gave them internet, we installed Wi-Fi's, solar bakeries, and we actually turned it into a smart village, and it's actually an ongoing project. It's a project that has been going on at UJ for years, so it is a departmental project that is sponsored by UJ. It is UJ sponsored. It's just that our student chapter, SAI, actively takes part in this project. and it is one of our main projects, and it gives us that exposure to industry.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, everyone. Yes. From the question, the other thing I got there was further collaboration. So what we say is the more the merrier. Come in, that's collaboration. But Sheldon Cooper from the Big Bang would say something else. The more we have in that space, we suffocate. But you know what? We are engineers. We are not scientists or theoretical physicists. Okay, you guys. Come in and let's be stingy. Work together. Okay. The next part comes in. Finally, they said it's for the young minds. I believe this room is filled with young minds, exceptional minds, hopefully. So they'll be presenting their thingy. Yeah, it's a quiz. My apologies. So the title of the thingy is African Engineers and Quiz for young minds. So this is Aisha, the red shot on my left, and then this is Lissy Holy Cody. Over to you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Nick. Okay, good afternoon, learners, students, graduates, young professionals, and distinguished delegates. Yes. It is of great honor and privilege to stand before you here today at the 9th Africa Engineering Week and 7th Africa Engineering Conference. My name is Lesego Legodi, as Nick mentioned, and the lovely lady to my left is Shana Rankot. We are both students at the University of Johannesburg. I'm doing my 4th year in electrical and electronics engineering, and she's a master's student in civil engineering. And we are also both representatives and registered student members for our respective voluntary associations, the South African Institute of Electrical Engineers, SAI, and the South African Institute of Civil Engineers, SAICI. Okay, so without any further ado, let us proceed to the Africa Engineering Week quiz. Okay, judging by the attendees in the audience, we didn't anticipate these numbers, but however, it should still work. So I believe all of you can participate if you want to.
Please participate.
Test out your knowledge, skills, yes.
Yeah, guys, we designed the quiz so that it's applicable for everyone in the African context and in line with today's or this week's theme. So I hope you are ready.
That's a long password.
Yeah. Maybe 5 every time. So Lebo mentioned like a few of the activities in her speech of what societies do, and at UJ Civils, this is one of the activities under our social functions. So we host social functions for our members so that they can collaborate even amongst themselves and grow their network amongst themselves. Oh, thank you. So one of the social functions is having a quiz, and we've always themed it according to engineering and to suit them. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I'm very full of fun facts and some good general African engineering knowledge. I hope you enjoy. Oh, okay. We're gonna get some music for you guys. Set the tone. And I will always love you. And I will kiss. Okay. Alright,
Even the president here, right?
Welcome, Madam President. We are honored to have you here. Thank you.
I thought I couldn't allow the session to start and end without me coming to greet you. Can I stand up?
Yes.
While you're doing technicalities, right? Thank you. I appreciate the technical glitch. Thank you so much. I really felt I couldn't allow the session to start and end without me coming to see you, without me coming to welcome you, officially, because I think it is important for you to understand your position within the context of engineering. You are the leaders of this industry. You are the leaders of this country, and if we do not start cultivating your thoughts, the efforts you put in, placing you in prominent roles, then where are we headed as a country? We can't expect to be engineers sitting at the table while we are ripe already. Let's start now. So for me, this session was really important to have. It's the first time ever in the history of African Engineering Week that we have a youth session. So for me, I hope you see how much you mean to the industry, to Engineering Council, to the Federation. And going forward, I will bother you. I am going to bother you. I think I've started with a few of you. We are developing an MOU for the youth, and it will be housed at EXA so that we can ensure that we don't leave anybody behind. I no longer want to come to a VA and hear issues of we don't have enough mentors in this VA, we don't know how to write our reports. It's my duty to make sure that you do your part, and I'm taking that on. So I'm happy that you're all here. I hope we engage, we have fun. We've got a bride this evening. Michael, when are we having a DJ convention or something? So I'm looking forward to the fun-full week, and have fun. Please, let's engage as much as we can. Let's get those business cards. There's people who came from all over this continent who are prominent figures. There's businesses who are also coming through. So let's engage, let's network, let's learn how to do it. Starting now, let's start volunteering. I never leave the stage without talking about voluntarism. I think you know that. So let's do more of that. So I would like to thank the team that assisted with the organization. I know they were costing me an arm and a leg. I think yesterday they were asking for a camera that rotating one. It's too late. I tried. And when I tried, they say, President, how do they get to you? I said, it doesn't matter. I want it for them. But it didn't happen. So, but thank you for organizing this. I really appreciate your effort. I really appreciate your effort. Michael and your team, I might not know all of them. I think you'll introduce me to the team at some stage. But I really appreciate your efforts. We see you, and we won't forget this. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Okay, so I will leave next. We'll meet lunchtime.
Yeah.
Doctor?
No, I'm going to be out after speaking, but we'll talk.
You talk, okay. This is a doctor, a good friend of mine. He's trying to teach me discipline, but I'm getting there. When you see me being called doctor, then you know I got it right. Okay.
Okay, guys, it's time to work out the smartphones that you all have. I hope.
Hopefully.
Okay, we're gonna get the music playing. And you're gonna go to menti.com. Please. And that's the code. You can scan the code, or you can go to menti.com, MENTI.com. com.
Okay, it's already one minute. Three.
Right. Joining. There's the code 68354525. We got 3 people. 4. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the quiz, 20 questions in total. The faster you answer, the more points you get. We're gonna have a top 3. Is it top 3? We don't know. We'll see where we get them. But it will show your score. I think after every question, you will be able to see where you stand and your score. So be quick with those thumbs. They can text very fast. Okay, there we go. 16 people. Everyone. Okay. Everyone is in.
Someone gave me a call.
Yeah, or just go to minty.com and enter the code.
Yeah. We're gonna start as soon as everyone is in. You guys should be seeing. Okay, so how it is, so on your phones, so the questions will be projected up here, but you'll also be able to see it on your phones and and be able to see the options for the answers. Okay, so there's multiple choice questions, there's a true and false questions as well. So on your phone, you are going to select what you think is the correct answer. Okay, so the question will be projected up here as well, and it will show on your phone, and then you can select the correct answer. The faster you answer, the more points you get. Okay. Are you guys ready? 21 participants. Is that how much? It looks about right.
Anyone else still struggling?
Is anyone else still struggling? Anyone else? Is everybody in? Okay. Right. Let's do some thumbs up. Just do some stretches. Get those engineering brains on. Switch them on. Lights on. Okay. Yes. Let's see, we 175% and above only. We are distinction students here. Let's go. Are you ready? Please, we want hey, switch the lights on and make sure someone's at home now. Please. Are you good, sir? Is it still working?
Yeah, he's struggling with okay.
Natural. Okay. Give you 3 seconds.
Okay, he doesn't stop there.
Just say there's a lady by the name of Prudence. No, it's not.
It's the long weekend.
Oh yeah.
Quick question. Are we all from SA? Do we have any international delegates with us? No? Oh, okay.
I'm from Cape Town.
Oh, really? It might as well be it. Country. Yeah.
Definitely not.
The weather you guys are having right now. Hell might as well.
Okay.
Oh.
No, no. Are we all in?
Yeah.
21, 22.
Good?
Okay.
So let us start.
Sure, we must put our names in here. Is my real name or my fake name?
Here we
Just in case
go.
I lose.
to put a fake name.
Fake name? So then we get more
Fast to get more points.
Oh, it is.
Look at your device. What does FAIR stand for? You got 1 minute.
Federation of Asian Engineering Organizations.
Bruh, is it?
Federation of African Engineers Organization.
Which one is it? Engineers or
Federation
engineering?
of African Engineering Organizations, or the Federation of African Engineering Organizations. Wait, it repeated the option twice.
I don't know.
Some technical glitch, I think. Okay. It's cool.
I like this minted up. That's pretty cool.
Okay, that gave the answer away anyway, so you just got an extra. Okay, and Everyone has voted. Okay, leaderboard, let's see. Rose is currently in the lead. Venture, second. Dragon Knight, who's Dragon Knight?
Wait, how many questions were there?
There's 20.
There's 20 questions. This is the first
This is the
question.
first
Oh,
one, yes.
Yes.
Yes, fastest.
0 points.
The faster you answer, the more points you get. Yes. So the answer needs to be correct, right? But the faster you are, the fastest correct
Just so you
answer.
know, I'm second.
Okay. Alright, so we're going Rose, Venture, Dragon Knight. Okay. You ready? Second question. You ready? Everyone's in?
Yeah.
Go.
Okay.
Look at your device.
When and where was Fail formed?
When and where was Pharaoh formed?
Cairo, Egypt in 1972. Cape Town, South Africa in 1972. Nairobi, Kenya in 1970. Or Cairo, Egypt in 1963. We have about 40 seconds. Yes.
Everyone is
Okay, looks like Levo's in the lead now. Wait. Oh no, Venture.
Venture. Alright, our correct answer was Cairo, Egypt in 1972.
Give me the correct.
Cairo, Egypt, 1972. That is where it was formed.
Okay, so next question, question
Next
3.
Question 3.
There are 5 regional bodies that work under Fail. True or false?
Oh, no.
Everyone has it. Okay, and the correct answer is true. 31 correct.
We got North African Federation, West African Federation, Eastern African, Central African, and Southern
And
African.
seems like Venture is still in the lead.
I can't see my
Let's go.
You can't see yourself, so
Hi guys, I was getting 80 at school, so don't be surprised. I'm an 80 student.
next question, question 4.
Question 4, okay.
When is World Engineering Day?
Come on, guys. Come on. Come on.
4th of July, 4th of March, 4th of May, 29th of Feb.
Come on, come on, come on. Well,
Just under 20
engineering,
seconds.
this is the day for you guys. If you don't know,
You can't be engineers and not know the day. Like, come on.
I'll tell you what. Everyone has voted.
And the correct answer is the 4th of March.
So in 2020, the global celebration, which is World Engineering Day, was renamed World Engineering Day as a joint venture between Unesco and WFEO. To highlight
Okay.
engineers.
Seems like Levo's closing the gap.
Venture! Levo has an unfair advantage.
Okay, still anyone's game though. Still a couple of questions to go. Question 5.
Question 5, guys. There's lots of questions. Let's go.
What is the theme of this year's conference?
Who was paying attention?
Celebrating engineering excellence in the African region, commemorating engineering excellence in the African region, celebrating engineering excellence in the Southern African region, or celebrating engineering excellence in the Western African region. Just under 45 seconds. And the correct answer is celebrating engineering excellence in the African region.
I can't see myself.
Time's closing in. Okay. It's cool. Next question, question 6.
I know me, I just
Where is the world's first 3D printed school located? Angola, Tanzania, Sudan, or Malawi?
This is done in Africa. So which country? Yeah. You all know. Guys. You don't need Africa engineering museum. I see that.
And the correct answer is Malawi. Everybody correct.
This is where we see the tables turn. Look at that.
And just like that in the top 3. Okay.
And you were the fastest person to answer it. Nice.
Where did you come
look
from?
close by there, Jojo. That's right.
I think
Next question.
I think it's copying my
Question
answers.
6.
Right, guys. The quicker you answer.
Mechanical engineering involves the study of force and movement in machinery. True or false?
True or false? True or false? Mechanical engineers, are we here today?
Yep. Any mechanical engineers?
Yep.
Nope.
Oh, this one.
Everyone.
This one. Wow.
Yep.
Yay. So, Makina, you got that one right? Yeah. Oh, good.
Did you?
We have to check.
Yes.
Oh, look at that. Everyone getting to you. Jonathan.
I changed. I was writing my name. I was trying to write my name, but then.
Now.
I'm sure.
I mean, that's the 10 years later.
Yes, it's a good day.
Okay. Question 8.
8.
21, please.
Already? Oh, some people got it out, so you can just re-enter the code, guys.
To the code. Menti.com. Menti.com.
If you look on top of the screen here, the code is there. So if you get kicked out, just go back to Menti refresh.com. I don't know if you should refresh. Mine. So you can go back to Menti.com and enter the code. Everyone, okay.
22 more left. Please.
Everyone there? Everyone's fine?
Everyone okay? Okay. Can you proceed?
It's an easy one.
To become PR in South Africa, which professional body do you need to register with? You should know this. SAI, SAIMEKI, SAISI, EXA, or IEEE.
Come on. Ha. There we go. I don't think there should be any wrong answers
There
here.
shouldn't be.
Ah.
Wow! SAISI! Who said SAISI?
Guys,
size is
I hope
important.
you're off that sizing. We don't know you if you don't size.
Next question.
Let us see. Let us see.
Leaderboard.
See the board. There you go.
Benji still maintain the lead. Question 9.
This is gonna even out.
The tallest building in Africa is less than 300 meters high. True or false?
Less than.
And the correct answer is false.
Well, the tallest building in Africa is the iconic tower in Egypt, which is 385 meters high, 80 floors.
Question 10. Halfway there?
Halfway there. Come on.
Okay.
Go.
Which engineering field involves the study and application of electricity, electronics, and electromagnetism? Biomedical engineering, electrical engineering, nuclear engineering, or mechatronics engineering?
Sure, that was fast.
Really fast. And the correct answer is electrical.
Yes.
Yes.
Who is getting one wrong? Okay.
Okay. Kind of close. 9 more questions to go.
Venture is still the one to beat, guys. Come on.
18 players ready. 19, 20. Come on.
Ready?
Okay.
Everyone ready? Okay, come on.
What is the name of the longest bridge in Africa? Third Mainland Bridge, 6th October Bridge, Suez Canal Bridge, or Nelson Mandela Bridge?
Africa. Oh, that was fast.
6 October.
Yes!
Only one person put the person. Wow!
I guess. I didn't
Egypt.
Who's Jonathan? Oh, Jonathan!
He's been winning since he sat here.
Amazing.
Okay. Next question. Tanzania and Burundi have put out a request for proposals for the design and construction of an underwater tunnel. True or false?
They have put out a proposal, but not for an underwater tunnel, for an electrified railway.
Underwater.
That one, I will not take up
Let's see how things stand now. Venture's losing it now. Okay.
It's rough now.
I'll be back.
Smell.
It's rough.
Sitting so quietly at the back.
Hey.
An underdog it is. There's 7 more questions. Home stretch. Let's go.
In which year did Kenya launch Africa's biggest wind farm? 1999, 2002, 2010, or 2019? And the correct answer is 2019.
Oh, damn. That project was $680 million. 365 wind turbines.
Okay.
Winter is coming back.
Jonathan slipping a bit, but still a chance to make it.
Talk please.
Okay. 14. Let's go. What does SDG stand for? Everyone should get this correct.
That's an easy one.
Sustainable Development Goals, Sustainable Driven Goals, Sustained Development Goals, or Sustained Driven Goals?
Come on, come on. 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1. And the correct answer is Sustainable Development Goals.
They're also known as the global goals. Rose up. Rose.
Yep.
Rose.
Please can I have my spot back?
Okay, Mel is the first one to 10,000. Congrats.
We are coming.
Very quick. Next question, 15.
5 more questions.
The SDGs replaced the MDGs. True or false?
The
is true.
The MDGs were the Millennium Development Goals. They were set in 2000. And the SDGs came over and replaced them.
Okay, so back to the lead. Wow.
Right, this one.
Okay, 16, almost there.
Last stretch, guys.
When were the SDGs born?
When?
2000, 2002, 2012, or 2015?
Where do you get these questions from?
I know my news. I keep up with engineering.
And the correct answer is 2012.
2012. So they were born in 2012, but in 2015, the official wording of today's SDGs was adopted by the UN.
Who's Earthman?
That's one.
It's time to steal the game.
17. Almost there?
17. That's an easy one. I promise. Easy
Yeah,
one.
easy.
If you don't know, I don't know them. I don't know.
I can.
How many sustainable development goals are there?
I'll give you a hint. It's the same number as my age.
It can be.
Now look at the numbers there.
17, 20, or 15?
How old am I? 20. It's the same number as my age.
Old enough.
Everybody.
And the correct answer is actually 17.
Yes. Guys, who said 20?
Want as many as possible.
There's 3 unofficial ones.
Coming back. Boom.
This is the home run now, guys.
Home run. Where are you? That's another easy one. I think. Yeah, guys.
What does UNESCO stand for?
Come on.
United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, the United Nations Engineering, Scientific and Cultural Organization, United Nations Engineering, Sustainable and Chemistry Organization.
No, everyone knows. Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
And the correct answer is the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization.
That should have been coming out.
Seems like Jonathan is back.
Last one.
Two more. Second
Two
class.
more.
Yes.
Hi, this is.
Question 19. That's not even.
UNESCO defines sustainable engineering as the process of using resources in a way that compromises future generations, using raw materials in a sustainable way, using raw materials in a way to preserve the environment for future generations, or using raw materials in a way that does not compromise the environment.
Process of elimination.
It's not fiction.
Yes.
And the correct answer is using resources in a way to preserve the
Why
environment for
did
future
you
generations.
say not compromise, huh? Wait.
That does not.
Does not compromise.
Wow, guys.
How young get?
No!
Last one.
How young get?
Last one.
This one is a doozy.
What makes the Eastgate Center in Zimbabwe a sustainable structure? The ventilation system uses biomimicry, they have a rain catchment system, they have solar panels, or they have trees planted in the parking lot.
When we're done, explain what biomimicry is.
I lost this one.
We're not in the class of the day.
See, this is what we need the updated curriculum
They have
for
trees
biomimicry.
in the parking lot.
Yes!
Ventilation system uses biomimicry. Biomimicry is the design and the production of materials, structures, and systems that are modeled on biological entities and processes.
Nice one, Tony. That was a great
Take Tony for the win.
Take time for the win.
Venture, Jonathan, and Mal. So Venture is in the center, Jonathan is Jojo, and Mal is sitting there all the way at the back. Thank you guys so much for participating in our quiz. I hope you had fun and you'll learn something engineering today.
That was fun. Well done.
Okay. Take a screenshot.
Well,
It was very nice.
oh, I owe you that. You wanted that video, right?
Yeah, it's actually rather. Thank you very much, guys. Biomimicry.
Yeah.
What is biomimicry?
Oh, go for it.
It's biomimicry.
No, you're fine.
Oh, thank you. So with biomimicry, what you do is you use biological processes or animals, right, to sort of mimic how they function to make robotics or whatever functionable. So what they did with the escape, they mimicked how ant mounds keep cool. Right, so yes, termite mounds, right? And so you have natural ventilation where air is essentially just forced into the building without using forced air or whatever, and it keeps the building cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's the first building in the world to do this, and it was actually designed by an architect. It's a marvel. Yes.
I know why I asked the application there. Economy. Now the architect decided to be an engineer. Stingy. That's why I asked the question. So he decided to be stingy because of economical whatsoever. So welcome our architects again to the virtual world. Thank you very much. This was the students today. Yeah, English is my thing. You can come with English. Thank you very much, Mr. Mark. You can come through.
Yeah, perfect.
Hi, sorry, hi.
You've already kept us long.
Okay. Okay. Just a bit of housekeeping. This was a nice relaxation moment. I wish the president was here to play this game. I really enjoyed it. And congratulations to the winners. I think it's there's 3 winners. It's Innocentia in first place. Let's clap hands for Innocentia. And it's Jojo in the second place. And in the third place, I didn't get the name. Malcolm. Malcolm, congratulations. Awesome. So I'm trying to sort out your prices. So you're going to get something definitely. It's not R1 million, but okay. So 2:30 we're going to break off for lunch, so that at least we come back refreshed. So we'll do the next session. That will be moderated by Mr. Flozi Misi. I think we're still trying to sort out the presentations, right? So I don't know if Flozi, you want to entertain the crowd, tell them about yourself.
So which level is not that one? Scroll again. That one's mine.
While they sort out technicalities. Good day, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. We're still good?
Yeah.
Still amped up for another session? No, that's good. That's good. As mentioned, my name is Lozim Nisi. I'm also the SciC Future Leaders Chairperson. Also work for the Department of Human Settlements as a construction project manager.
Yeah, that's the one.
So I wonder, in terms of how we're sitting, do you actually know the person who's next to you? You know them. Oh, that's good. That's good. Can I quickly, so we're gonna do something while they're busy. On the row that you're on, if you know, so if you're this side and you know the person who's this side, could you please stand up and come this side? And the person, if you know the person on this side, please come up and stand to this side.
Exchange seats.
So we're gonna exchange seats. So if Jojo knows Innocentia, then Jojo must move and come this side. Makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't.
And then you stand up and then you come this side. Everybody, if you guys know each other, then Jojo will stay. We'll come that side so that he can know you. So let's just try to do that quickly so that we can get into. We don't have a lot of time. If you can do it quietly, because I know you guys are not talking. So now let's quickly try that.
They're stubborn, these people.
Okay, you guys good? Last table at the back, are you guys good? You guys know one another? You know each other. So what I'm trying to say, I'm inspiring for us to, you know, we're gonna have lunch after this, so you must talk to the person who you are sitting next to, especially if you don't know them.
No, we already know each other.
No, come from the same space. Even if you guys, different institutions, it's good. But yes. Are we good? Can we start? Thank you very much. Thank you to our technical team. As mentioned, my name, we're good. Thank you for the moderation of the initial speaker. Nicholas, it was speakers. It was quite beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I hope everybody did enjoy it and were able to take away. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And to our amazing speakers as well, let's give them a round of applause for that presentation of importance of student chapters. Thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, the purpose of having to have a conference like this is to actually expand, the knowledge that we already have, but also to show new opportunities that are there. I would really like to personally thank EXA for having to have seen the importance that young people are playing. Indeed, as Michael was saying, the room should have been more fuller, but due to the circumstances that we had in terms of travel logistics, we unfortunately could not have most of the people. But we must make sure that we advocate that such platforms actually offer a space for young people. But not merely just a space for young people. Internally, we must also just still have opportunities where we can engage in the other rooms. Because it doesn't make sense to speak to young people while the older generation is speaking alone. And therefore, then you don't know opportunities, you don't know how to strategize 5 years, 10 years going forward. So as much as we have such platforms, let's make sure that we, within whichever platforms that we experience, we can have that synergy between the two spaces. So I'll be moderating the second session. And within the second session, we'll be having a topic where we'll be embracing AI and advancing the fourth industrial revolution and career opportunities for graduates. So within our first speaker, we'll have Dr. Rendani. Dr. Rendani will be talking more about this in terms of his profile. He's head of research and innovation at Nafasi Water Board, board member at the Innovation Hub, a subsidiary of Gauteng Growth and Development Agency, an advisory board of the University of Pretoria's Faculty of Engineering, Built and Environment Information Technology, and then also the fourth Industrial Revolution Commissioner and a TEDx speaker. So that's our first speaker for the day. Unfortunately, due to time, I will be more stricter than the first moderator so that we can finish. But we'll give each speaker 15 minutes to tell us more about the topic. Can we please welcome Dr. Randani to the
Thanks. It's quite good to be here. Nafasi Water is not a water board. It's actually a private entity. Was previously Avenge Water. Then became Nafasi Water about 4. I'm trying to look for a slot, but I think all of the slots are taken. Maybe I can just use the buttons. Yeah, I guess I can see the up and down. So it was previously Avenge Water, then when Avenge let go of a number of entities, Avenge Water then became Nafasi Water and is under a new ownership and management since about 2019. I joined about just over 2 years ago. I was previously with SASO. That's where I started my career. So I was given a topic around 4IR because I was in the Presidential 4IR Commission. But I put a couple of slides to try and attempt to bring the realities on. So I coined it around Engineering 4.0, thanks to the University of Pretoria, which has Engineering 4.0 at the back end, I think next to the Innovation Hub, and they're doing a lot of amazing work there. But the concept of Engineering 4.0 aligns very well with the concept of Industry 4.0, which the 4IR emerges from there, from a broadening perspective. Right, so I thought the first thing I'll touch on is what we observe is that through the tales and turns of technological change, those at the core of the developed world, they are a real GDP per capita seems to coincide with your CO2 emissions, while the rest of us in the periphery seems to not be quite aligned with this. So what we see from a CO2 point of view, it seems to be largely driven by industrial efforts, which a lot of those industrial efforts have emerged from the developed world. This graph comes from the 2023 UNCTAD report. UNCTAD is the United Nations Trade and Development. It's a very good report that I would recommend that you look at on an annual basis. They do very good work in terms of technological change, and I think it's relevant for us as those who are in engineering. But it's an interesting view, and I think over the years they've always tried to capture this notion of core and periphery. Obviously, core being the developed and the periphery being supposedly the global south. What we also see, so I call this the Great Divide, right? What we also see, so this curve represents what us in innovation call the techno-economic paradigm, of which the argument of that is you install a particular technology, it reaches maturity, then over time you start to prepare the next technology. And what this graph shows here is that the developing world, or those in the periphery, experiences certain technologies way after they've been experienced in the core or in the developed world. Right? We seem to be an importer of technologies, and not only are we importing them, but we import them very late. Right? So technologies emerge, they get installed in various economies, they drive productivity, and only later on, they arrive to us. And I think, and part of the argument that they are making in this report is that there is a window of opportunity. That from a global south perspective, when one looks at climate change, when one looks at the 4IR, that perhaps there is a window of opportunity. That instead of waiting for the arrival of those technologies at a later stage, we can do our best to increase our rate of technological innovation such that we can also participate in those technologies earlier on. And who are the creators of those technologies? I think the president has made it very clear earlier on that the creators of those technologies are you and I who are here. It is the engineering graduates who are supposed to be in the forefront of those technology. So it's quite important. I mean, technological change, industrial revolution, they are driven by technology, right? But if you are catching the technology late, you are not able to compete, right? So you are always being left behind. I think the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Johannesburg, Professor Marora, has always argued that unless we are in the forefront, we will continue to be left behind. And part of the argument of this report is how do we accelerate or raise the rate of technological innovation in a manner that we can find ourselves more competitive, or else we risk being left behind. So the report speaks about what they call frontier technologies. Right? So these are a range of the technologies that are viewed to be frontier. So others are coined Industry 4.0. Everyone is excited about AI, big data, blockchain, and there's also, in view of the climate change, then you've got frontier technologies from the perspective of green. It's interesting when you look at this, that advances in aspects such as clean coal technologies don't seem to emerge. And you must appreciate the political, economy nature of some of this conversation. That, because coal emerges largely from ourselves, it doesn't seem to feature in some of these conversations. So we also have to reflect in terms of what does that mean, because a lot of these technologies are already developed elsewhere. So there's also a need for us to watch out in some of these things, right? But I think what's key for me, and this is perhaps one of my favorite slides in the last 2 years of UNCTAD, they always do this projection, right? And what it shows is that the future, right, is IoT. The future is Internet of Things. And you'll ask yourself why, right? If we're building more and more of these sensors, if we're storing more and more of this data, where does it go to? Right? So Internet of Things seems to be that driver from the perspective that you are generating more data. We want we want smart metering on energy, we want smart metering on water. All of that data has to go somewhere. So that compounding effect, and you need the sensors that can gather that data in real time. So advances around, if you talk about autonomous vehicles, I mean, how are they going to operate? It's sensors on sensors on sensors on sensors. Right? So that's why you see that a big part of the growth going into the future. And the question is, as the engineers, if you're a chemical engineer, where do how do you fit into that space? If you're a civil engineer, how do you fit into that space? How do you deploy your? It's not always about a new curriculum. I hear a lot the new curriculum conversation. The fundamentals in a lot of these things are still the civil engineering fundamentals, but it's how do you deploy those fundamentals in a context of a digital economy, in a context of a smart, sensitive society. So I love this slide from the perspective of where, if we speak about career opportunities, one has to be looking at, but where is the world going, right? And certain decisions, even from an investment point of view, are being made in terms of where money is going to be poured into. So how do we make sure that our skills are then aligned and relevant to where the world is going? But according to this, IoT is one of the key focus areas that we ought to be worrying about or ought to be focusing on if we are to be relevant. And I think those who are doing electronics, there's someone who spoke about double major. So I think they are quite fortunate to be in the heart of some of those things. And the question is, what does it mean for the rest of the disciplines in terms of participating in a range of these aspects. Of course, the challenge that we find ourselves, especially with things like your solar PV and your wind, is that how do we make sure that those things are localized, that there is backward linkages locally to make sure that you then are not only learning about the technologies from others, but then that we are then able to bring some of those technologies from within. So in terms of, and so we spoke about SDGs earlier on. So every engineer, SDG 9 is yours. SDG 9 is ours. Right? And it's really about how do we build the resilient infrastructure. All of these things are not possible unless there's the physical infrastructure, there's the digital infrastructure that promotes sustainable industrialization. The first graph I showed was that our industrialization since back then in the 1800s has not been a sustainable one. While it has allowed society to grow, while it has modernized society, it has also done a lot of damage. But the future now is how do we make sure that our industrialization efforts are sustainable? And that puts a huge challenge on us going into the future. It means certain advantages that were present are no longer available to us going forward. And ultimately, the notion of fostering innovation, of not being satisfied with the status quo, of refusing to accept that as Africans we largely continue to be importer of technology. And there's nothing wrong, by the way, starting with some level of importation. But over the long term, our strategy has to be how do we coordinate and how do we localize some of those things. But I think lastly, in terms of closing, it's really around embracing the convergence of the engineering disciplines. In fact, the whole term of 4IR Industry 4.0, the paradigm is convergence. It's about these things coming together. So yes, you get a qualification in civil engineering, but in reality, you are immersed with the other disciplines. How do you function within the context of others? Then shaping the convergence of these frontier technologies instead of just purely accepting them. I think climate change is a window of opportunity, as stressful as it is. It's a window of opportunity for us to increase the rate of our technological innovation. The aspect of physical infrastructure is so important because what you tend to see when people speak about the digital economy, they think it will just happen in the sky by itself. No, the cloud needs a lot of physical infrastructure. You need a lot of data centers that need a lot of energy. So our ESCOM situation is quite problematic for a digital economy. And I think lastly is to foster an innovative mindset, as I've indicated, and constantly. I mean, the notion of frontier technologies is to say we'll always be at the forefront. And I think as engineers, we must challenge ourselves to constantly be at the frontier and pushing the envelope. And yeah, with those few words, thank you very much. I'll welcome the questions after. Thank you.
Do we do questions at the end?
Yeah.
Questions right at the end.
Colleagues, I think unfortunately, when you've been put, it's like, being the last speaker on Friday. You are held between a weekend, a lunch, and all these other things. So at this point, they put me in the graveyard for lunch. You see. So what I've seen is that we're about to actually be busy with lunch, but just so that colleagues do not forget the questions in terms of, I think the presentation was cut short due to time. But I would like us to engage more rather on the topic now, take questions, and then after we'll then take our second speaker for this session when we start. So can we do that? Can we hold the stomach bits for now? Maybe let's take about 3 questions, if not then 4, and maybe our speaker can also indulge us with maybe more topic that you wanted us to engage on while covering the other questions. So can I see maybe if there is questions before I already give out? Okay, we've got 1, quickest hand first. I saw 1, thank you. I'm not sure. Okay, so 1, 2. There's an appetite for hands. You can raise your hand if you want to have a question. So 3, 4, sharp. 5. Okay, cool. Let's keep it clean and to the point.
So when it comes to technological development and accelerated growth, right, most of it heavily relies on venture capital and government subsidies. You said that you are part of the government's advisory, the president's advisory on fourth industrial revolution and everything. So I just want to find out, like, what was the government's position back then when you were part of that on subsidizing or rather investing in these new and innovative ideas? Because, for example, you have areas like Silicon Valley and all that stuff, right? All of those, they are heavily subsidized in order for engineers to be able to take all these risks. They know that there's the financial backing to do so. So then my question is, like, as engineers, we might have the ideas, but they might not have the funding. And so when you're part of that committee, what was the government's position on that?
We'll take the questions and then we'll answer it once.
Yeah, I'm writing down.
Sure.
From a student's perspective, because you mentioned that the curriculum, we have to find our own ways to kind of get involved in Flow IR. So how would you advise that from the student's perspective?
Good afternoon, everybody. I have a question for our presenter. Firstly, thank you for your presentation, sir. My question is regarding the last point on your last slide, where you mentioned to foster an innovative mindset. So my question is, what are some of the practical ways that we can foster an innovative mindset, particularly in marginalized communities?
Thank you. Great presentation. My question is Africa ready for AI? Yes or no? If not, how big is the gap and how far do we have to go?
Anyone? George.
She asked the same question I wanted to ask.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's the 4 questions.
I stand or can I answer from
Yeah,
here?
you can stand. Whichever is comfortable. It's your platform.
All right. Venture capital. So there are a couple of, I think, when we speak about Silicon Valley and all of that, there are some myths around venture capital in terms of their timing into the market. So there's a view that South Africa doesn't have enough venture capital. But part of the issue that we have theoretically on venture capital is they don't arrive too early. They arrive when things are just ready for the market. And we have not done enough to prepare opportunities that are venture capitalist ready. So that makes it quite a challenge. In terms of the government's position on investing in new things, so we are doing poorly so there's a matrix around R&D investment that each country must invest about 1.5% of its GDP into R&D, whether a combination of basic, applied, and experimental research. We are sitting comfortably on 0.67%. So that tells you around where the appetite is in terms of investing in new things. The other thing that we have, and the CSIR, we are actually the CSIR today, struggles with. So as government, we invest about 800 million rand per annum to the CSIR. But once the CSIR, it's not a lot of money. From an R&D, I mean, other countries are investing a lot, right? But once the CSIR or any other public entity has developed a technology, it can't just give that technology to government. It must bid for government to get that technology, and then must compete with someone from China or Germany. So there is a concept around public procurement for innovation, which others are arguing for, that for some of the things, once government has invested, it must take what is its own thing and go and use it. But of course, there are issues around how do you govern that properly from a PFMA point of view and stuff like that. But these are some of the things that we need to unblock so that government is able to take. I mean, it doesn't make sense that you invest in something when it's ready, you can't just take it. I don't know if, yeah, so I think that's it. So we are not doing very well from that perspective. And as I said, we remain an import. I think a lot of technologies have left the country. Do you know that we were in the forefront of electric vehicles in the late, around 2010, 2012? Do you know that? No. We had a vehicle called Joule. Yes. It even won awards in France and everywhere, but we killed that thing along the way. I mean, there are issues, others have written about it, but we're in the forefront of such a technology. But our system didn't seem to enable the whole thing to finish on the other. So there are issues in our system, from funding and just enabling things to run through to the fight. I think this thing has either finished the battery or something like that.
Government is muting.
Okay, yeah. So I think so there's a challenge around investment and around new things. But the reality is, investing in new things, they fail those things. So if you don't have a portfolio approach and have an appreciation that you lose part of it, you can't bet on a single thing. You actually have to bet on a portfolio level. We don't seem to be doing, and we've got enough instruments, by the way, Technology Innovation Agency, CSIR, CEDA, IPC. But for some reason, these things don't seem to be coming together. And it's a space that those like myself, because I did my PhD on things like this, we're trying to understand fundamentally what is the problem and how do we unblock it. I'm fortunate to be part of the National Technology Commercialization Strategy led by the DTIC and the DSI. I got involved a couple of weeks ago. And part of it is to figure out commercialization so that we can try and solve it. 4IR, in terms of, I think that was your question, student involvement. I think the point I was trying to raise around, so a lot of the fundamentals, I mean the building blocks of, and I know everyone gets excited about coding and robotics, but what are those fundamentals? Right? It's a lot of the fundamentals are mathematics. Do we understand the building blocks of some of this? And a lot of you already have some of those. So now it's just a matter of having to move from a previous program now to use those things now in Python, as an example. But you already have a lot of the fundamental building blocks around some of those things. Of course, at UJ, I think all of you are kind of plugged into that. So I think those are the spaces that one has to get involved in. University of Pretoria, I think through Professor Marivate, they are doing a lot of work around data, around 4IR, which are available, and maybe this is where EXA has to see how you tap into some of those things that are already called, I think they call it the Indaba, I forgot the actual name. Yeah, I forgot the full name, but they are doing a lot of work even into the continent. So perhaps part of the student chapters I think they were in Kigali not long ago. There was a big conference there. They were in Tunisia last year. So maybe your student EXA team can plug into some of those aspects. When people are writing papers around AI and learning, around language and then all of those things. So those things are already there. I don't think you must recreate them. You must figure out. So UP seems to be doing quite a lot of effort. And I know also at VET, there's Undibo from IBM. He runs their AI department there. I think she knows Joshua. I mean, he did his PhD in AI. So I think it's a matter of how do you guys plug into what's already existing so that the people can see the actual opportunities. And you can see companies that are hiring data scientists, data there. So the question is, what is it? And most of those people are electrical, sometimes they're mechanical engineers, depending on what their entities are looking for. So I think there's an opportunity there. So I think the notion of fostering innovation is really, as I've indicated, it's really about not accepting the status quo. And of course, in a marginalized environment, there are a lot of things that are going wrong. I like the Kwakwane project that I'm aware of it because my supervisor, Prof. Sina, was also involved in some way in that particular project. And the question is, how do you set up those spaces in more and more communities? Are we ready for AI? I think we are. People like Professor Marwara, Professor Marivate, Babu Paul, they are some of the global leaders in terms of artificial intelligence, globally. And the question is, how do we, is it even? It's not even. There are obviously gaps. The question is, how do we tap into some of those spaces and then raise our ability to be conversant in some of the basic, and not all of us are going to be AI experts, and AI alone is not, as you see, AI is one of the frontier tech, it's not the only one. So how do we make sure that we are conversant in the portfolio of the frontier technologies so that collectively we can make a response? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. I think, you managed to cover everything in terms of just outlining where we're sitting with the technological advancements that we're having, but also I think the appetite that government has. But also I think just to add on the points about how these type of technologies can be implemented, especially looking at the type of people we have today. It's more of, you must know that it's called the school fees phase. I think as Africa, we are at that point where we must pay the school fees. You must struggle you must be that one who says, I'm gonna do this thing. If you don't struggle to say, I'm gonna do that thing, get the connections. So it's not capacitated enough, but you need to go out there and actually get the information. You need to go out there and actually say, raise your hand and say, I want to do this, I want to do this. And then in you having to do that, then the opportunities you'll find that within the market, there's so much. But it won't necessarily just come to you. And I think that is also to say, there's so much you can do. So please raise up your hand so that we can see, and also you can be connected to those that are already advancing in that space. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're done with the session. We're gonna go have lunch, and then we'll try again, I don't know how, to just say it's time to go, and I think there was a bell. We'll ask them to ring the bell so that everybody can come back, and then we can continue the session.
Is there an indication perhaps of what time we want to assemble here?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're still in sync with that.
That's true. It's 20 to 3. And yeah, obviously our session was out by an hour. So we were supposed to come here at 3. So I don't know, can we make it maybe quarter past 3? Yeah, okay, cool. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy lunch.
Lunch is
downstairs. There's a auditorium, I think.
I want to come back.
Brilliant.
Run away. You guys have already arrested me for long.
You were extremely patient.
Yeah, well, you're already here, so what's going on? invite and then I'll do the presentation. You guys look both Italian, huh?
Ah, no, don't worry.
I'm joking.
Well, he won't mind. This light doesn't fit. No.
Maybe.
Oh, yes, side.
Can you see Tim by
You see when you stand with that?
It's just in front of this projector.
Can you see the people that are
There's a third one.
I think that's
The first one was